everybody. How we doing? How we doing? Have we got sound? Trying to see if we got sound here. It's not playing. I'm trying to make my video play. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Do I have sound? Let's see. Oh, here we go. All right. Do I have sound? Got it. All right. Everything's working. Well, folks, you got a worn out, tattered Ethan standing in front of you, but I'm gonna keep on pushing here. Folks, you have the right to be a prosecutor in a court of law. And you need to know that. And in order to know that, all you need to do is read. So at the website, oralhealthwithcannabis.com, you can always find that in the description of my videos. You go to the services page and you look for the document titled 48 Love Letters. I've got 48 state constitutions all in one Word document, which is word searchable. So you pull up the word search feature, type in courts or type in right to courts and see what you find. You're going to find at least 3 states that discuss your right to the courts as prosecutor, as well as being able to defend yourself. You don't need to be represented. You don't need a British parasite, British agent representing you and throwing you to the wolves. And so if you've caught my other videos, you've heard this. But if this is your first time here, this is Alabama, Section 10, right to prosecute civil cause, that no person shall be barred from prosecuting or defending before any tribunal in this state, by himself or counsel, any civil cause to which he is a party. Well, wait a minute, Ethan, that's tribunal. What you said, courts. All right. Well, okay, so this is under Section 10, right to prosecute civil cause. All right, that was Alabama. Right to the courts, Georgia. No person shall be deprived of the right to prosecute or defend, either in person or by an attorney, that person's own cause in any of the courts of this state. Well, Ethan, that's Georgia. Yeah, I know that's Georgia. Can you have a right in Georgia that I don't have in Michigan? Can I have a right in Michigan that you don't have in California? You see, it's the common law across the common land. Now, if you want to understand, if you want to get a grip on how this infiltration happened and how dumbed down we are, my Own Your Authority 6 video, I talk about the American Bar Association being formed in the late 1800s. And one of their primary objectives was the setting of academic standards. All right, British agents going to set our academic standards. And look at where we are today. Look at what law school is. Law school ain't about law. Law school is about color of law. It's about statutes, acts, codes, rules, regulations, ordinances, basically enslavement tools of these parasites that have infiltrated America, turned our country into corporate governance, and enslaved us all for generations. Now, in the description of that video, Own Your Authority 6 is an eighth grade test from the late 1800s. And I challenge you to take the time to go find that video, go find that link, and understand what an eighth grade education was in the late 1800s. It's going to blow your mind. It should. And a lot of you college educated geniuses will have a hard time with some of the areas of that eighth grade test. So, how do we get out of this? Is what you want to know. How do you get out of it? Well, first of all, you got to know who you are. You're the highest authority under God. You're the highest authority. Period. And in talk after talk after talk, whether it's a religious talk, it's a freedom fighter talk, it's an information talk, I am hearing more and more people say to use your authority, to know your authority. And I've been telling you that for a long time. Own your authority. If you knew who you were, none of this would be necessary. And you wouldn't be living in fear. You wouldn't be so paralyzed with fear that you can't come together and stand up and take them down. Look, you got one sheriff in each county. I swear, 40 men go and confront that sheriff about what his job is, what his duty is. And you let him know that he's participating in human trafficking and worse. Maybe not worse, more, and probably worse. And it's going to stop now. Now, when I went to talk with the sheriff here in Kalkaska County, now I tried, I called and I called. I went up there, I demanded, I insisted, I refused to leave. To this day, that man has never spoken with me. Of course, his deputies, along with the state police, put me through that administrative system while I was a pure slave. Had all kind of felony charges on me. That's life imprisonment at my age. They lie, they cheat, even in their own system, with their statutes, acts, rules, codes, regulations, ordinances. They got to lie to do what they did to me. They got to cheat to do what they did to me. And they're doing it to you. If not you, people you know, people you love, people you care about. And why do you keep putting up with it? Because you're paralyzed with fear. Why? Because you don't know who you are. So it's important that you know who you are. And these state constitutions are not difficult to understand. You do not need to know legalese. You do not need an attorney Now, there's some words in there that you might not know, like abrogate, repugnant. So I'll tell you, if it's repugnant, it must be abrogated. In other words, any statute, act, rule, code, regulation, any bylaw that goes against your God given, unalienable rights that were once constitutionally protected cannot stand as law, cannot be used against you. In these corporate courts, they're operating outside of their jurisdiction. And they're using trickery and brainwashing through generations to get us in the position that we're in today. If you find yourself in front of a black robe and they ask you, do you live in the United States? What are you going to say? Don't say yeah. Say no, I do not live in the United States. I am not a U.S. citizen. I have diplomatic immunity to the United States. But first, before you do that, so let's back up. Black robe's there. You're there. Black robe says, do you live in the United States? Well, first of all, is it a man or a woman? And do they have a nameplate up there? Let's say it's a man. His name is John. You don't say, Your Honor. You say, John. First, we must determine the language that we're speaking here. Are we speaking Webster's language? Are we speaking Black's Law language? Are we speaking French or German? What is the language that we're speaking here? Because if it's Black's Law, if it's Bouvier Law, you can't hear a word I'm saying as a judge, John. But as a man, John, you should be able to understand that I am communicating to you with Webster's language, with the American public school language, with common folk American English language, not judge, John. All right, you get him on your level, man to man. First thing you do is you figure out what language you're speaking. Now you can communicate. Now that you have the ability to communicate, now you go ahead and answer that question. You say, no, I am not a U.S. citizen. I am a foreign national to the United States. I have diplomatic immunity. The United States is 10 square miles, a foreign land. It is the District of Columbia, known as D.C. All right? Pretty simple. You just need to know how to stand on it. Now, the Americans Notice of Liability is a document that has stood the test of time. It is powerful. It is a court of record document. It is extremely simple. There's two versions of it on the services page in the documents section. One will have the word coroner in it. If you feel like you want to have coroner authority, that you're capable of being a coroner, that you can determine the difference between life and death, you know how to detect a pulse, you know how to read body temperature, you know how to check for breath, you know how to check for a reaction. Let's say somebody's in a coma, you can determine the difference between brain dead. You want to be a coroner, you can choose that one. You don't want to be a coroner, choose the other one and then make it yours. It's very simple. And it prints out on 8.5 by 14. Make sure you set your your printer up for a legal size paper and and edit it properly. There's a simple instruction there, and there's yellow highlights. You put the proper date, month, and year in the proper place. You put your name in the proper place, your state, your county, and then make a couple of copies and go to a notary and have that notary function as a notary jurat certificate and create your court of record document, which is, I don't call it a fee schedule. It's much more than a fee schedule. And I say the most powerful way for you to use it is to serve it on your sheriff in his lobby, under his audio, under his video, and you record it. And I think it's Own Your Authority 10. I'm talking with the jail sergeant. That's as high up as I could get. And I talked to him for 2.5 hours, but my phone only captured 20 minutes, about 20 minutes, but it ended perfectly. Where I'm reading to him about I have the right to prosecute my court, not my case. And I was there as the prosecutor. And as the prosecutor, I was serving an order for arrest and pickup and detention of these criminals that I have had in my court who have pled guilty to treason. And now we need a jury for sentencing, for restitution. And then there were several other cases that I ordered the sheriff to serve. And amazingly, a short time later, the Kalkaska County Sheriff's Department had to move their inmates to another county because they didn't have staff. And who did I talk with? I talked with the jail sergeant. I'm guessing I educated that man. Who knows for sure what happened there? I also had a arrest order for the former, at that time, the current Kalkaska County prosecutor, Michael Perot, the man who prosecuted me, the man who repeatedly lied to me. And that was the end of June. I think it was June 28th. And then there's an article comes out that before the end of July, the prosecutor at that time, Michael Perot, up and quit in the middle of his third term. I think I had an impact. You can too. And I could have a much more powerful impact if I could just get one man to stand with me. And so far, that ain't happening. Because they're all pussies. They're I wish I could say it another way. I can. They're just too full of fear. They're too full of fear to do the right thing. So they allow the bad to continue. And a lot of these men have wives and children. Yeah. Just let it keep getting worse, folks. Don't complain to me about it. In fact, don't complain to anybody about it. If you're not going to do nothing about it, don't complain. If you're going to do something about it, well, now you got a right and a duty and an obligation. Put some steel in your spine, get some sand so you can stand, not be blown over. Get a strong constitution within yourself, your constitution. It's time to hold all these parasites to account. These are your public servants that have enslaved you. They're torturing you. They're stealing from you. They're raping you. They're destroying your lives. Kalkaska County is coming to take my property, take my home, take my property. They put me out of business. They made me a criminal. I'm here with it's got to be one of the greatest discoveries. Marijuana rejuvenates gum tissue. Science can't do that. And after I presented it to the National Institute of Health, the National Institute of Health goes and funds $1,800 million to rejuvenate gum tissue another way, and they failed. And it was in print at the time that if you have lost gum tissue, it's gone forever. It's not coming back. Marijuana rejuvenates gum tissue, but for your safety, because marijuana has never killed anyone, for marijuana, you go to prison. Yeah. In where? The land of the brave, the home of the free, where liberty rules? No, it's the home of the slave and the land of the fearful. Because this is what we have. This is what our generations before us have allowed to get to this gripping point. And there are, I'm sure there's a lot of good men that have tried to stand and they get crushed. But times have changed. Now is an awesome time to be a whistleblower. I believe that a higher percentage of middle and lower law enforcement, like over 50%, want to be whistleblowers, but they're afraid to. Because they got a wife and kids. They got to keep putting food on the table. They want that paycheck. Well, there's another way to make a living besides doing that. You got the right to travel. You got the right to carry. You got the right to free speech. You have the right to the courts to prosecute those that do harm against you. So know who you are, own your authority, build yourself a strong constitution by educating yourself, and channel that fear into righteous indignation, and stand up and be a voice. The women and the children are counting on you, men. And for all you women that are out there fighting the way a man should fight, bless you, ladies. Well, I sure wish it was different. I wish it was the men. At any rate, I love y'all. I was getting ready to sign off. I gotta say, my opinion is, if you're going to be following truthers, digital warriors, and you want to be empowered, listen to Derek Johnson over and over and over until you don't need to listen to Derek Johnson anymore. He's got a lot of talks. And the vast majority of them, he's repeating himself, especially in the beginning. But now as he's getting more out there and on more platforms. Um, Derek bringing some additional information in addition to some, well, we'll call it commentary. And I would say good commentary. The other one that I would recommend that you follow along with is SG Anon. And maybe one of the best places to follow both of them is on Rumble. And there's a little search feature there. You just type in Derek Johnson and search for videos. SG Anon, ANON, and search for his videos. And empower yourself. A lot of these other guys, they're bringing you doom and gloom, and they're regurgitating news and giving you their commentary. I've been trying to empower you, to get you to understand who you are, what your authority is, and how to stand on it. Now, everybody who's participating in the change that we're going through has their place. So my little niche here is cut out for me, and I say we need every tool in the toolbox. But chasing down rabbit holes that will get you nowhere is a waste of time. And there's a lot of rabbit holes to chase down. And these rabbit holes that want to get you putting paperwork into that corporate system, I would run. All that does is support the system. We need to tear it down. You drag them parasites into your system, into your court. And fear works both ways. Fear works both ways. All these police departments, all these sheriff's departments, all these prosecuting attorneys, all these black robes, all these county clerks, and everybody staffed in their offices, they're all participating, in my opinion, in human trafficking. Every one of them. And the ones that have been told and they keep doing it, I say no mercy, no amnesty. And I say it's your job, people, it's your duty to educate these parasites and put the fear of God in them. Own your authority and take control and turn the key for life, happiness, and liberty. Freedom. Accountability. Right is right. So, everybody, I love you. I'm fighting for you. I'll be back soon. Hope you're having a great day. I'm going to do my best to make my day good. Bye for now.